always and forever. Hey, each moment with you is just like a dream to me that somehow came true. And I know tomorrow will still be the same. 'Cause we've got a life of love that won't ever change. And every day, love me your own special way. Melt all my heart away with a smile. Take time to tell me you really care, and we'll share tomorrow together. I'll always love you forever. Just messing up the song. What's up, y'all? This is Ty. I am here. Y'all excuse me for butchering that song, but they played that song in this episode. I am here to review Season 1, Episode 10 of Average Joe. I was about to say Fat Joe. Of Average Joe, which comes on BET Plus, starring Deon Cole as Joe the plumber, who finds out that his daddy, after his daddy died, that his daddy stole $10 million from the Russian mob. And that's the premise of the show, and it's a great show. And I'm upset because I feel like not enough of you people are talking about the show or watching the show. But now we're at the season finale, and I'm really hoping they get renewed for a second season. I'm in a goofy mood. I'm in a good, joyous mood. Y'all like my shirt? Look at that. So, before I get into this episode, let me give a shout out to my lovely subscribers who hold me down in the comment section. I'm talking about folks like Quiet Guy, Lamont Simpson, Simply Be Yourself 100, Mark Johnson. Thank you, Mark Johnson. I appreciate your comments. Courtney Brackens, Karima Khadija, June BLC, Savannah Rivers, Amore, Dupree, Jackson Jones. You know, Savannah got that long name. And all of you other wonderful people that hold me down in the comment section. You just boop, hit that. Boop, boop, boop. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button. Tell people about this channel. We appreciate that. So anyway, let's get down to this episode. The episode starts with a flashback like they always do. In this flashback, it's Jennifer's birthday, and they're going all out, and she wants to go to a karaoke spot, and Joe is like, no. Then they get in there, and Joe's like, karaoke is creepy and weird, and I don't want to do it. And then they call him up, and he gets up there, and, you know, the lights go dark, and him, Touch, and Leon get up there, and they start with their matching suits. Always in forever. That's why I sang that song. See, it all ties in. And that was pretty funny and cool. And then we go into modern day, to present day, I should say, and we see Nikolai knocking Joe upside the head. He got Joe tied up, and he's knocking him up and knocking him upside his head and smacking him around. And Joe says, "You're hit like a hoe." And Nikolai said to him, he said, "I'm just warming up. I'm saving myself for when your daughter returns." And he says, because, you know, he's going to torture him. And he was saying all this stuff. And he says, Joe said to him, have you always been disappointed in your son? I was like, wow. He said, then he mentioned him. He said, you know, my father loved me from a distance, and, you know, because he didn't want me to be weak, and he did things to make me prepare me. You didn't prepare your son. You failed your son. And that was a deep conversation, and that leads that leads Nikolai into saying, yes, you know, I want to be different from my father. And, you know, he changing his shirt, and we see all these scars and whips and bruises on him. He says, because my father beat me every night. He treated me horribly, and I wanted to do different for my child. And he said, you know, one night he came in there to really box me and beat me down. He said, but I hid behind the door. And he said, as soon as he turned around, I hit him in the head. And he said he bashed his father to death. And he said, I was 9 years old. You know how ruthless you got to be to kill somebody at 9 years old? He said, I was 9 years old when I beat my father to death. So Nikolai is not one to be played with. But I like that. I like how shows give you a character and they don't make them one-dimensional. They let you see how that character, what makes them. And I like shows like that where the character isn't just evil. There's something behind the evil, something that triggered it. And this was, his father beating the hell out of him. And so he said, you know what, because you mentioned this whole thing about me being failing my kid, I was going to kill you tonight, but no, I'm not going to kill you tonight. I'm going to take you back with me. We're going to go back to Russia, Moscow. He said, we're going to go back to Moscow, and I'm going to watch you. You're going to watch me slowly kill your daughter after she give birth to my grandson. I said, this man is ruthless. And so while that's going on, then we have Irina nearly killing Leon. And then that's when Jennifer's like, stop, don't hurt him. And she said, you're not going to shoot me. And Jennifer says, no, I'm not. But Jennifer takes the gun and puts it to her own stomach and said, listen, if this baby dies, you're not going to see your child because Nikolai is not going to let you see your child. And like I predicted, I knew that her and Irina was going to end up switching sides. I kind of felt that early on in the series. And so she says, listen, you come on. So now Irina is on their side, which is crazy, but which is crazy and bad for Nikolai, because Irina's one tough cookie, as what's her name calls her, hit bitch. That's what Leon calls her, hit bitch. Meanwhile, Kathy, who I believe is probably my favorite character on this show, Kathy, she's trying to sell the heroin, and she fell asleep in the car. The cops approach the car, and she has that in her purse. She gets out of the car, and as they're about to check the car, she makes this fake meltdown. Oh my goodness, I lied, I wasn't drinking, because she told them she was drinking, and she fell asleep, and she didn't want to drive, so that was a lie, that she was drinking, and she didn't want to drive home drunk, so she slept in the car. That was a lie. And then she was like, I lied, because the cop was about to go into the car and reach for that purse and find the drugs in there. And she did this whole scene of, I came down here following my husband and find out that he's down here with some white whore, this, that, and the third, Mary Beth. That was hilarious. And she was so hysterical. They was like, ma'am, it's okay. Go home and get yourself some rest. And I like how she was hysterical. Then she did that little grin. I like her character. Her character is a scene still very funny. Meanwhile, Angela goes back home and she's going, their house is huge. She goes back to the house and she pulls out a knife. I guess she's thinking she's hearing stuff in the house. She's like, what am I doing? She's like, what's going on with me? Now we're back at the cabin. Touch and one of the mobsters are fighting, whatever. And that guy was getting the best of Touch. And then Irina saves the day and ends up shooting that guy. And Touch doesn't realize it. He's like, and that's when Leon was like, no. Hit bitches on our side now. And I thought that was funny when they said hit bitches on our side now. And I thought that was hilarious. And so she looked at him and said, that's the name I have for you, hit bitch. So I love that about the show. There's a little comedy in there with the action. Meanwhile, Joe and Nikolai are in an intense, the shooting starts happening. Joe and Nikolai are in an intense fight with some really good scenes that back and forth. Y'all know I like a good fight scene. That was a really good fight scene. Nikolai is smiling while that's to see them crazy people. He's smiling while Joe is hitting him and stuff. But then finally Joe gets the best of him and stabs him in the eye. And that's it for Nikolai. They, Irina and them, they take out all the rest of the people. Irina, Joe, Pam comes in there. Pam comes in and she got to make sure she pumps more bullets in Nikolai as if he's not already dead. And it's like, damn. And then they take the body to the lake and dump it. And I'm like, okay. So it seems like everything is going smooth and going nice. Irina because I was wondering, how's Irina going to meet her daughter? Irina did get to meet her daughter. She's reunited with her daughter. That's beautiful. Pam goes to the governor and gives him a photo of the now dead Nikolai. And he tries to deny any ties. She said, okay, well, you enjoy prison. He's like, wait. what do you need me to do? So he releases her mother to her. So now she has her mother. So things seem to be going nice and smooth. Kathy reunites with Leon. And then Kathy tells Leon, listen, I found Joe's father's stash. And he said, turns out what he did with the money is he was turning the money into heroin and using that and making a drug empire, which was bringing in even more money. And then he said, well, how much heroin do you have? And she whispered, so we don't know. So it must be much more than the 10 million. And then they both started laughing. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And I'm like, are they going to let Joe and the rest of them know about this? Interesting. Then we see Touch with a bag of money going to Tess's mom's house, trying to find Tess's daughter, Donna. Because remember the backstory where his girlfriend was accidentally shot by her daughter, and he covered it up and made it look like Tess had committed suicide. And so he goes to the door, leaves that bag of money. Then he knocks on the door, and this old woman opens the door, and she says, you're the guy that's been leaving all this money. Come on in. So you're thinking it's going to be a happy ending. When she gets through with him, she's telling him, she says, listen, I know what happened. I know because Donna, Tess's daughter, could never cope. She could never deal because she remembers vividly killing her mother. And you, my friend, you covered it up just to save your own self and made it look like my daughter committed suicide. And now look, her poor daughter, which is the woman's granddaughter, has killed herself. And she said she brought the box. She said, and you've been bringing all this money. She said, keep your money and you should kill yourself. See, I would have just told him just kill herself, but I'll take the money. But I guess, I would have kept the money. But she was like, take the money back. I don't want it. Kill yourself. I would have like, kill yourself. Leave the money here with me. That's just me. But she tells him that. And that's what I said. Things are not going so well. We see the next scene with Touch, and it looks like he's about to do what she said and kill himself. The guilt has consumed him. We hear a gunshot, but we don't know if Touch has killed himself or not. And we see Pam and her mother. That was cool. Then we go to Leon and Kathy trying to make this drug deal. And I knew something was up with that. She goes to the guy tells her, but she has Leon in the background. The guy tells her, listen, well, she says, wait a minute, this is not all of it. He says, show me the rest of the stash, and then I will give you the rest. And she says, F you, or something like that. So he chokes her up or whatever, and he says, you're going to do what I say or whatever. And she said, okay, fine. So she drops her keys, and she's like, I'm looking for my keys, looking for keys. And she goes down, and she maces him, gets out of the car. He gets out of the car. He's shooting at her. He ends up shooting her. So now Kathy is shot. This triggers Leon. Leon is upset. Leon is like, breathe. I'm like, Kathy, please don't die. Kathy's wounded. Leon shoots the guy and kills the guy, only to see a badge. The dude is an undercover cop. So now, see, this is how we move from the mob stuff to now something else. Because it's like, oh, you killed the undercover cop. So this is raveling out of control. Meanwhile, Joe is at home, ready to have some pizza, have a good time. And he gets a note from Angela saying, listen, I got to go. She was like, listen, I was a ride or die. And now I'm one that's moving on. I got to get up out of here. She said, me and you almost got my daughter killed. And, I understood where she was coming from. She's like, I can't deal with this. I can't handle this. I got to go. And he starts crying. And then when he starts crying, he hears a knock on the door. And then the screen goes black. And he says, oh, God, no. So we don't know what it is that he's heard. Was it Leon telling him that Kathy was shot? Is it someone telling him that Touch is dead? We don't know what it is. And that's how the show ended for the season. Really, really good. And I'm really hoping that they bring it back for season 2. I enjoyed this show. I hate to see it end. That was the season finale, but I hope they bring it back. It was so good. And I'm like, what are they going to do? I'm like, is there not someone else connected to Nikolai that might come out for season 2 for revenge? Who knows? Will we see Arena again? And that was funny when Leon told her, he said, listen, if you ever need anything, please don't reach out to me. Basically, he told her, I never want to see you again. I thought that was hilarious. So, really good show, good acting, good scenes, keeps you wanting more. That's all I got. Tell me your thoughts down below. Please check out my other videos. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next